Hello, my friend. Welcome to your Reiki session. You've been feeling a little overwhelmed, huh? Yeah. Overwhelm is not something that our nervous systems really know how to cope with. So usually we'll start to shut down. Whether that's freezing or going into fight or flight. And what we can do is just give ourselves a little bit of space, which usually when we're overwhelmed feels completely counterintuitive because we feel so much pressure to do things. But actually, the most productive thing that you can do is just take a moment to regulate your nervous system. I know that sounds maybe disempowering or something that you don't want to do at all. But if you are experiencing overwhelm, I just highly recommend that you take this time to just take care of yourself. I am going to be plucking away your worries and this sense of overwhelm. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Anna. I am a Reiki master practitioner and teacher, and I absolutely love creating these Reiki sessions for you to relax, to unwind. It's just such an honor for me to be part of your healing or spiritual or even relaxation journey. So thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, I just got so much of that blanket. Look at that, how many fluffies. This blanket I keep here on this desk to keep it quiet when I put things down. But it is like the fuzziest, it leaves the most fuzzies ever. Anyway, so I'm going to take this selenite wand and start to clear and cleanse your aura, starting at your crown and working my way down, just to do a general kind of all over cleansing. This is like giving you an energetic bath or shower. Just getting that superficial layer of gunk off. So I wanted to mention this because it's hard. I don't have a way of thanking you for this, but I want to thank you so much. Recently, you've been sending me a lot of tips through PayPal, and so I just wanted to say thank you. That's really generous. I'm very, very grateful to you. So there's no way that I can directly thank you. So that's just really sweet. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you too, and I love you too. And your messages were so sweet. So I don't know what spurred this generosity, but thank you very much. It's very sweet. It makes me feel, really grateful. So thank you, thank you. That's very sweet. So is there anything from the day that you just feel like maybe it's time to let go of? Something superficial, maybe it's just you've been carrying a lot of baggage and you're just giving yourself permission to let go of some of that weight. That can be really helpful. Selenite is such a powerful stone for this because it's self-cleansing. So it just has this very kind of purifying energy to it. Particularly, we're working here in the mental plane just to really help you release. Especially if you're being hard on yourself, releasing any of those negative thoughts, releasing any self-criticism, self-judgment. I think you're being a little hard on yourself, so let's release some of that. Okay, good. Good. One more time, crown, all the way down. There. Okay. So, I always like to charge that in the light of the full moon, and I usually keep it in my windowsill. And we have eclipses, and so it has a lot of this really beautiful charged energy. But I'm going to jump right in and start to do some plucking some of your worries away. I'm going to use this jojoba oil as like an all-natural jojoba oil. Just a couple of drops of that, just to like a carrier. And then we're going to just be plucking your overwhelm. And I have here this large wooden bowl. And this is filled with moon water. Particularly moon water that was charged in the full moon, so it's very cleansing. Very cleansing. So I'm going to be plucking and casting it into this bowl so that we'll let that water just kind of wash away. Wash away your worries. Okay? Draw the sacred symbols in the palms of my hands. Slow your breathing down for me. If you could just do one thing for me through this session, it's just to be kind to yourself. Okay? Just be kind to yourself. Okay. Just drawing the sacred symbols outside of your heart space. Okay. Okay. There we go. So just casting and washing away your worries. Any of that overwhelm and stress. So over the years, I've done a lot of healing work on myself. I think it's the Scorpio in me that loves the transformative aspects of life and how we're able to evolve and have a personal evolution. I find that really empowering. But one thing I noticed is that I've gotten better at a lot of different areas, but when I get really overwhelmed, my reaction is to freeze. I go into this freeze mode when I'm overwhelmed. And if it's just, I just kind of, I really kind of freeze. And I guess from the outside it wouldn't look like that, but internally it's just sort of like I feel completely like a deer in headlights. I just get very, very still and quiet and kind of contained, and it feels like I'm standing in front of a mountain, And so I just decide to sort of look up at it. Just kind of look around. And what helps me shift out of that sense of overwhelm is to talk about it, talk about what I'm experiencing. Even just the act of me saying these are the things that I feel overwhelmed about helps my brain start to get into how can we resolve this, tackle this, climb this mountain, instead of that's a big mountain. That is a big heckin' mountain. So if you're like me, if you find stress and overwhelm to be really triggering still, no matter where you are in your journey, then this is for you. I think something that's important is to give yourself space. Give yourself the time and the space to fully sit with the discomfort of the overwhelm, or to just allow your nervous system to kind of settle a bit. Sometimes that's all we need, is just for our nervous systems to start to regulate, to shift into a regulatory state, to shift out of that fearful, sympathetic nervous system of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, all of that into the regulated state, into your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. And that doesn't mean that you'll, stop being productive at all or start being lazy. It's quite the opposite. Usually we are, one of the reasons that we freeze is because we're so overwhelmed. But that is just something that we need to recognize, is that how can you care for yourself in these moments when you're coming up against something that feels really triggering and something that's really overwhelming? Right now, I have so much going on that it's all great stuff. You've been so sweet about it, but yeah, it's all really good stuff, very exciting stuff. Big dreams are coming true for me, and I can't wait to share them with you. I'm very excited and very grateful. Yeah, very excited about these things, but they're big shifts, and sometimes the magnitude of them feels really daunting. But it's at moments like that where what I have been doing to kind of heal this and move into a more regulated state, and also to learn how to shift these things in a very real way and a long-term way to shift my nervous system, has been to remind myself of the reason. What's the reason that I want these things? Remind myself of how powerful it is and wonderful it is that I have the freedom of choice in a lot of ways in my life. Reminding myself of that, reminding myself that I've met so many people who have said that they wanted to take this or that action and that they haven't, and that yes, stress, overwhelm, discomfort, uncertainty is the reason that so many of us stay stuck or trapped, or stay a little bit smaller and play things a little bit safer. And that instead, if we want to live that dream life, the price to pay for that really is uncertainty and overwhelm. And if you can just learn how to kind of expand and strengthen your tolerance for overwhelm, you will bring new skills, incredible skills into your life that will help you to amplify and just ascend. It's so powerful what we can do when we are able to sit with discomfort. I love flicking all of your overwhelm into this bowl. satisfying. Good. So maybe you're feeling a lot of stress from work, family. Maybe you're feeling a lot of stress in the root chakra, and maybe it's really showing up as a blockage in the mental plane. Root chakra has to do with safety, finances, security, grounding, home life. It's the root chakra, so you can think about like a family tree and how the roots are the foundation. So if you're struggling with family issues, a lot of the times family issues show up all throughout our chakra system. But if you're feeling like you have a lot of kind of tension or tightness, when it relates to family, but overwhelm can be so disempowering. Overwhelm in and of itself can convince us that we're not as strong as we are, that we're not as capable as we are, that we're not as powerful as we are. And you are so capable. You are so strong, and you are so powerful. You've got this. You really do. I believe in you. I know you can figure this out. When I get into that sense of overwhelm, it's usually because I've allowed my to-do list to get really long. And what I tend to do when my to-do list is very long is I look at it all. It seems like this insurmountable day that I've set ahead of myself, and then I find it very, very difficult to jump in, right? Which is why over the past, 5 years or so, I have this soft rule where I just don't allow myself to put more than 5 things on my to-do list per day at the beginning of the day. Typically, I try to just make it 3 and make it 3 things that really count. And then I try to start with the toughest thing, the thing I want to do the least. So I get a big win in, and then I can tackle the rest of the things, because momentum is your best friend when it comes to overwhelm. The moment you just start doing something, it'll blend over and it'll have this snowball effect. So that's helpful. Feel free to use that. If you want to maybe share some things that you're feeling overwhelmed about down in the comments, feel free to do that. Some of the things that I've noticed are helpful is when I start planning my day and I notice that actually there's a lot of things that are on the to-do list, because it's not always, you can't always just put 3 things. But what I do is I put all on my notes, I put everything that I have to do kind of lower down in my notes. And then I pick the 3 most important things that if I just did those 3 to 5 things that day, that would be enough. Those are like the absolute must-dos. I put those 3 to 5 things on my to-do list, and I try to knock off the one that I want to do the least, that feels the most insurmountable. I try and tackle that one first. And then from there, I can tick things off, and then I always do like a midday check-in and say, okay, is there anything I can move from the lower half of the list and put up here? But by the lower list, I mean so that when I'm looking at my notes, I can only see those 3, and then I put everything else down below where the scroll bar is. So this is my 1, 2, 3. I put everything else beneath that. So when I'm looking at my notes, I just see those 3 things. Those are the only 3 to 5 tasks that I see. Then I check them off one at a time. But right here, now you're not doing that. You're not doing anything. You're just relaxing. Right now, you're regulating. This is very important, okay? I'm just sharing techniques, just hanging out, so that if any of these are helpful tomorrow or the next day, you can start to implement these. I know that there are so many people here on YouTube who are committed to helping you with your productivity, and I think that's incredible. I really do think it's very empowering to have people here who are helpful and kind and want to help you with your productivity. I see myself as the yin to that yang on the internet. I see myself as trying to also help encourage you to prioritize rest and deep emotional self-care and attention and tending to those spots that are often neglected. We're getting rid of a lot of your overwhelm. This is great. But yeah, I think we need both. We need the yin and the yang. Having that productivity and that go, 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 and then having the rest. You know, we need both of these aspects. But if I can encourage you to kind of move back and forth, oscillate between these two aspects, flow in and out of yin and yang, without allowing yourself to go into shame. So that might not make a lot of sense for some of you, which is great, but I know for some of you it will. That you have a lot of shame that's associated with resting. I know that you do. You have a lot of shame associated with resting. You have a lot of shame that's associated with taking time for yourself. You feel guilty when you allow yourself to take time for yourself. That breaks my heart so much. It's the most natural thing. We work, yes, we are active, we go out there, we take action, we go after the life of our dreams, we set goals. I love that. Come on. I mean, I love that. I love, going after my dreams. I love taking action. I'm a very active person. I'm very passionate. I love life. But I get so excited about possibilities and this and that. So I am so connected to that yang energy. But one of the reasons that I created this channel here was to kind of provide a different way of being, a different way of thinking, because I have moved through that, because I have been in that. I have been in a place where I felt so much shame about rest and feminine energy and yin energy and all of that. I grew up in a very masculine household. And so there was just a lot of that kind of energy in my home growing up. And so the other side of things, the softer, gentler, nurturing side of things, was not encouraged. And so I've really had a block with that. And so it's something that I've had to teach myself in my adult life. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to create this here, is to help you if you have experienced that same thing. And it's not about it's not about whether you identify as a man or a woman. It's not about that. It's about that having a balance within you where you take action when it's appropriate and necessary. You take pause and trust your intuition. You lean into your knowledge and fortitude when that's necessary. You lean into your dream state, and you lean into flexibility and into adaptability, and you oscillate between these two. And that is truly the most empowering thing you can do, is to have the access to both. So both are really necessary. It's really important to rest. It's so important to take time for yourself. It's also really important to take action and really important to do things for others. But I know a lot of you will sacrifice your own well-being for others, and that kind of martyring isn't going to lead to anyone being happy. When you take care of yourself, when you prioritize yourself and set boundaries, that is what allows you to be wholehearted, to show up as the best version of yourself. I know so many people who love identifying as the martyr. Oh, I do so much for everybody and no one does anything for me. And they're not very pleasant to be around. They would do something for you, but there's always a bitterness to it. They do something, but there's some resentment there. Whereas wholehearted people, and I recommend her all the time, but Brené Brown talks about this and the research that she's done that link people having boundaries, really strong boundaries, with being wholehearted, living wholehearted lives. And that connection is really present in the research. And I've seen it in my life when I was running around, trying to do everything for everybody, filling everyone else's cup. I wasn't very pleasant. I didn't, there was just so much missing from my life that I was in constant survival mode. And then I couldn't show up in a whole way for anybody, So I think it's really important. It's really important to take care of yourself. That's my encouragement. I have learned this. I have learned how important it is. So we're still plucking away your overwhelm. Looks like you're doing pretty well with it. Looks like you're doing pretty well. Pretty well. If there's anything you want me to pluck away for you. When you are regulated, calm, you're just so much more capable of showing up for yourself and for others in a really helpful way. You can be useful. What is that Marcus Aurelius quote about boundaries? It's like, something like, do not tether yourself to the external so much that you are unable to distinguish your own boundaries. I know the end of the quote. The end of the quote goes, remember, it's possible to be a good person without anyone ever knowing it. Remember, it's possible to be a good person without anyone ever realizing it. That's possible. So don't be so bound to the perceptions of others that you're not looking inside and saying, does this even align with who I am? Does this even align with what I need? And that it's just a very, very important thing. Very, very important. I think overwhelm, if you experience overwhelm and that's something that's very triggering for you, then I would suggest that you try to sit with it, try to expand, like I said, your tolerance for it. But also try to practice setting boundaries. And the way to do that is just to get really comfortable with what you need. Get really comfortable knowing yourself, knowing what you need in order to perform and function at your best. And I think we just have such confusion about what boundaries are. Boundaries aren't telling other people how to act or behave. It's not about, and it's also not about ever taking advantage of someone else. It's simply about saying, this is something that I need, or this is something that I want. I just want you to know that. So if that's not something you're able to meet, if that's not a need you're able to meet, then I'm going to step back, I'm going to take my energy back. And so that could be anything, It can also be, if you're working really, really hard and you're just like, I need to take a rest day. It's just about saying, I know this might mean that I am not completing the work that I need to get done this week, but I will get it done next week because I need to take a day off. And then let them respond how they want to respond. That's not on you, right? It's not about becoming a flaky person who only thinks about yourself. Obviously, you guys know that. It's about the balance, like I said. It's really important to show up for people you care about and love. It's really important to acknowledge the impact that you have. But it's really important to take care of yourself. No one can pour from an empty cup, okay? No one, not even you. Let's light our candle. And we'll light our candle almost to say this is a promise that you're making to yourself, that you are going to really prioritize yourself, take some time, and be your own parent. Be your own parent. Be kind to yourself. It can be very, very easy to ignore your needs, and I'm just giving you permission to prioritize them instead. So here's our Palo Santo Natural Coconut Wax Apothecary Candle. On behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered, most aligned self, in loving comfort and in perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session to help release your overwhelm, release your stress, and allow you to really, really deeply rest. So, what would you like to, what kind of intention would you like to set? What intention would you like to set? Maybe for tonight, maybe for tomorrow, maybe for this week, maybe for this month. You're going to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to how you're doing. Tend to your to-dos, that active solar plexus yang-based energy. Pay attention to that. Try and have a sense of order and organization to that. And also tend to yourself and your nervous system when you are feeling overwhelmed. Your emotions are such an amazing teacher. They can help you to understand better what it is that you're experiencing and how you're being impacted by others and by the world around you. So we shouldn't be ignoring our emotions. We shouldn't be acting on them. We should instead be listening to them. What's this about? Why is this coming up? Because they are not coming up by accident, okay? So feel free to set your intention. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel really energized? Do you want to feel like you can do anything? Like the world is your oyster? Do you want to feel like you can just sprint through everything? Do you want to have that energy? Okay, you can set that intention. That's great. I love that feeling. I love feeling motivated, but it's a feeling, it comes and goes. It's not as reliable as discipline and planning and, having a process and a plan, a roadmap, but it's It's a great feeling. So let's set that intention. I'm going to be disciplined so that when moments of motivation strike, I really can go after them and just soar. But then in moments where I'm not feeling motivated, I know what I have to do to move the needle. And I can be kind to myself and love myself through the process. That's a great intention. Is your intention to take this season as a season of slowing down and breathing and taking a pause and reconnecting with your intuition and healing your nervous system? Is that the season you're in? Beautiful. Do that. I highly encourage you to just set your intention. Whatever you want, it's available to you. You can have anything. You can have anything. You can always pause and come back and set your intention. I hope you found this session helpful. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You've got this. You've got this. You've got this. Okay? You've got this. You are creative and emotionally balanced. You are safe. You are safe, okay? You are safe, balanced, protected. Just be kind to yourself, okay? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. And until we meet again, be so well, okay? Lots of love. Till we meet again. Namaste. 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 Hello, my lovely, lovely patrons. This session is going to be all about just like sending love into the hands. Our palms are these like entry and access points for so many different energies to flow in. So doing Reiki hand massages I find really helpful. So soothing. So I'm just going to be sending this energy towards you. I love using things from nature to send healing energy. You know I love using things like driftwood, stones, all the earthly elements. I love using water as a healing element. Good. So sending that love towards you, and see if you can just maybe breathe it in. Fill yourself up with that gorgeous, loving energy. Imagine the aroma just swirling in and flowing all through your body. Which can be directed and channeled with laser-like precision to help you accomplish tasks and achieve objectives. Cool. This is going to be a really powerful time for you. 2 super empowering cards. You have this fiery energy, and you have like the earth and the roots and the ancestors. It's like star and earth and fire. Find as comfortable a position as you can. Maybe close your eyes. You could lie down, whatever feels right for you. And let's begin today with gratitude. Whatever position you find yourself in, bring to heart one thing for which you are grateful.